And even if it wasn't, said Stlky, flat on his back, staring into the blue, even suppose we were miles out of bounds, no one could get at us through this wuzzy, unless he knew the tunnel. Isn't this better than lying up just beyond the coal, in the blue funk every time we had a smoke? Isn't your Uncle Stlky? No, said Beetle. He was stretched out at the edge of the cliff, thoughtfully spitting. We've got to thank Turkey for this. Turkey is the great man. Turkey, dear, you're distressing Heffels. Gloomy old ass, said McTurk, deep in a book. They've got us under suspicion, said Stlky. Hoopats is so suspicious somehow, and Foxy always makes stock. He does sort of scalp, said Beetle. Foxy's a giddy chinkagook. Poor Foxy, said Stlky. He's going to catch us one of these days. Said to me in the gym last night, I've got my eye on you, Mr. Corcoran. I'm only warning you for your good. Then I said, well, you jolly well, take off again, or you'll get into trouble. I'm only warning you for your good. Foxy was wrath. Yes, but it's only fair sport for Foxy, said Beetle. It's Heffelinga that has the evil mind. Shouldn't wonder if he thought we got tight. I never got squiffy but once. That was in the holidays, said Stlky reflectively, and it made me horrid sick. Upon my sacred Sam, though, it's enough to drive a man to drink, having an animal like Hoof for a housemaster. If we attend the matches and yelled, well hit, sir, and stood on one leg and grinned every time Heffy said, so ho, my sons, is it thus? And said, yes, sir, and no, sir, and oh, sir, and please, sir, like a lot of filthy fags, Heffy 'ud think no end of us, said McTurk with a sneer. Too late to begin that. It's all right. The Heffel gangs mean well, but he's an ass, and we show him what we think he's an ass, and so Heffy don't love us. Told me last night after prayer that he was in loco parentis, Beetle grunted. The deuce he did, cried Stlky. That means he's maturin' something unusually damn mean. Last time he told me that he gave me 300 lines for dancing the cachuca in number 10 dormitory. Loco parentis, by gum. What's the odds? As long as you're 'appy, we're all right. They were, and their very rightness puzzled Prout, King, and the sergeant. Boys with bad consciences show it. They slink out past the 5 courts in haste, and smile nervously when questioned. They return disordered, in bare time to save a call over. They nod and wink and giggle one to the other, scattering at the approach of a master. But Stlky and his allies had long outlived these manifestations of youth. They strolled forth unconcernedly and returned in excellent shape after a light refreshment of strawberries and cream at the lodge. The lodge-keeper had been promoted to keeper, Vice the murderous fisherman, and his wife made much of the boys. The man, too, gave them a squirrel, which they presented to the Natural History Society, thereby checkmating little Harttop, who wished to know what they were doing for science. Foxy faithfully worked some deep Devon lanes behind the lonely crossroads inn, and it was curious that Prout and King, members of the common room, seldom friendly, walked together in the same direction, that is to say, northeast. Now the pheasant isle of Aves lay due southwest. They're deep, devilish deep, said Stlky. Why are they drawing those covers? Me, said Beetle sweetly. I asked Foxy if he'd ever tasted the beer there. That was enough for Foxy, and it cheered him up a little. He and Heffy were sniffing round our old hut as long as I thought they'd like a change. Well, it can't last forever, said Stlky. Heffy's banking up like a thundercloud, and King goes rubbing his beastly hands together and grinning like a hyena. It's shocking demoralizing for King. He'll burst some day. That day came a little sooner than they expected. Came when the sergeant, whose duty it was to collect defaulters, did not attend an afternoon call-over. Tired of pubs, eh? He's gone up to the top of the hill with his binoculars to spot us, said Stlky. Wonder he didn't think of that before. Did you see old Heffy cock his eye at us when we answered our names? Heffy's in it too. Tra-la-la-la-too, I gloat. Hear me, come on. Aves? Said Beetles. Of course. I'm not smoking aujourd'hui. Parquet que jolie. Well, pense that we'll be survivi. We'll go along the cliffs slow. Give Foxy lots of time to parallel us up above. They strolled towards the swimming baths and presently overtook King. "Oh, don't let me interrupt you," he said. "Engage in scientific pursuits, of course. I trust you will enjoy yourselves, my young friends." "You'll see," said Stlky when they were out of earshot. "He can keep a secret. He can't keep a secret. He's following us to cut us off our line of retreat. He'll wait at the baths till Heffy comes along. They've tried every blessed place except along the cliffs, and now they think they've bottled us. No need to hurry." They walked leisurely over the coombes till they reached the line of the notice boards. "Listen a shake. Foxy's upwind comin' down the hill like beans. When you hear 'em move in the bushes, go straight across to Aves. They want to catch us flagrante delicto." They dived into the gorse at right angles to the tunnel, openly crossing the grass, and lay still in the eaves. "What did I tell you?" Stlky carefully put away the pipes and tobacco. The sergeant, out of breath, was leaning against the fence, raking the furze with his binoculars, but he might as well have tried to see through a sandbag. Anon Prout and King appeared behind him. They conferred. "Aha! Foxy don't like the notice boards, and he don't like the prickles either. Now we'll cut up the tunnel and go to the lodge. Hello! They sent Foxy into cover." The sergeant was waist deep in the crackling, swaying furze, his ears filled with the noise of his own progress. The boys reached the shelter of the wood and looked down through the belt of hollies. "Hellish noise," said Stlky critically. "Don't think Colonel Dabney will like it. I move we go up to the lodge and we can get something to eat. We might as well see the fun out." Suddenly the keeper passed them at a trot. "Wouldn't they comin' bottom for the Lord's sake? Master be crazy," he said. "Poachers, Sim," Stlky replied in the broad Devon that was the boys' language de guerre. "I'll poach 'em to rights." He dropped into the funnel-like comb, which presently began to fill with noises, notably King's voice crying, "Go on, Sergeant, leave him alone. You, sir, he's executing my orders." "Whom you to give orders here, gingy whiskers? You come up to the master. Come out, that wuzzy." This was the sergeant. "Yis, I reckon us know those boys you be after. They 2 long ears and wuzzy bellies, and you nipples they in your pockets when they am dead. Come up on to the master. He'll boy you all to a mind. You all other folk bide by your fence-side fence." "Explain to the proprietor. You can explain, Sergeant," shouted King. Evidently the sergeant had surrendered to the major force. Beetle lay at full length on the turf behind the lodge, literally biting the earth in spasms of joy. Stlky kicked him upright. There was nothing of levity about Stlky or McTurk save the stray muscle twitching on cheek. They tapped at the lodge door, where they were always welcome. "You come right in and sit down, my little dearies," said the woman. "They'll never touch my man. He'll poach 'em to rights. Is fail, fresh berries and cream. Us Dartmoor folk never forget their friends, but the Bividor poachers, they've no hem to their garments. Sugar? My man, he'd been digging a badger for you, my dearies. 'Tis in the linny in a box. Us'll taken with us when we're finished here. I reckon you be busy. We'll bide here, and 'tis washin' day with you simply," said Stlky. "We am no company to make all viddy for. Never you mind us. Yis, there's plenty of cream." The woman withdrew, wiping her pink hands on her apron, and left them in the parlor. There was a scuffle of feet on the gravel outside the heavily leaded diamond panes, and then the voice of Colonel Dabney, something clearer than a bugle. "Can ye read? You've eyes in your head. Don't attempt to deny it. Ye have." Beetle snatched a crochet work anti-clemaster from the shiny horsehair sofa, stuffed it into his mouth, and rolled out of sight. "You saw my notice boards. Your duty, curse your impudence, sir. Your duty was to keep off my grounds. Talk to me of duty. Why, you misbegotten poacher. You'll be teaching me my ABC next. Roaring like a bull in the bushes down there. Boys. Keep your boys at home, then. I'm not responsible for your boys, but I don't believe it. I don't believe a word of ye. You've a furtive look to your eye, a furtive, sneaking poacher look in your eye, and that'd ruin the reputation of an archangel. Don't attempt to deny it. Ye have a sergeant, more shame to ye then, and the worst bargain her Majesty ever made, a sergeant to run about the country poachin', on your pension, damnable, oh, damnable, but I'll be considerate, I'll be merciful, by gad, I'll be the very essence of humanity. Did ye, or did ye not, see my notice boards? Don't attempt to deny it. Ye did. Silence, sergeant!